Another student dead. Like, this is the height of it. This is terrible. Recall when we lost Sylvester to the cruel hands of his classmates that bullied him. Hello, beautiful people. It's your favorite girl, FL0GS, and I welcome you back to Gist Central. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be the very first person to watch our next video. I don't know what our country is even turning into. Recall when we lost Sylvester, the student who was poisoned by his so-called classmates. And now we are losing another student. And it's so heartbreaking that these are kids. These are the leaders of tomorrow. A student of Simple Faith Schools, Agbara, Lagos, had died after he was flogged by his teacher. What is going on? What is even going on? The name of this student is Emmanuel Amidu. What will be the future of our country when we keep losing these tender ones, these ones that are supposed to be the leaders of tomorrow? And I've been thinking, how do teachers manage to flog their students to the point of taking their own life? How do they, is it that they tend to bring their family wickedness or their family problem and use it to maltreat someone else's child? Little position or little career someone just have, you use it to maltreat other people's children. The father of this said young boy said that the school management was covering up his son's death and protecting the mathematics teacher, one Mr. Stephen like that, who flogged Emmanuel and the rest of the class for failing to do their homework. He said, "I was at home that Thursday because I was on leave. I recall that Emmanuel asked me for money to buy new exercise book and I gave him 500 naira to buy the book and give the remaining change to his sister. Later that day, I was called by the management of the school that Emmanuel was vomiting. Meanwhile, this was a boy who left home without any health issue." So this got me thinking, a young boy that left his father's house without complication, he wasn't sick or any of that. Now he got to the school only to be flogged by a teacher. I wonder how this mathematics teacher flogged him, because there are ways to discipline a child. There are better ways to discipline a child other than hurting him to the point of taking his own life. All this thing is really sad and it's so heartbreaking. So, this is what the father continued. The father stated, "I later learned that the whole thing started after their class teacher, Mr. Stephen, beat the whole of his class for not completing their mathematics assignments. Emmanuel was actually using my phone touchlight to do his assignments a day before, but I had to collect the phone from him and his sister because I needed to be in contact with the office. We had issue with our electricity at home. It was at Luth that I lost my son. Meanwhile, the management of the school quickly ran to and was trying to hide the whole issue. The management of the school ran to Morogbo police station at Agbara to report that my son died from vomiting." How cruel. How can school management, I don't even understand what is really going on in this Nigeria. How can somebody just die from vomiting if nothing triggers it? The management of the school is trying to protect the teacher. You're trying to protect your staff. Why someone else's child is dead? Why someone else's child is no longer breathing? This is terrible. Akinola 45 demanded the arrest and prosecution of the teacher. The school principal, Adetayo Akinji, told Punch, "I was there when Emmanuel died on Friday and it was unfortunate that it happened this way. Yes, Stephen flogged the whole class for not doing their sums, but not with the intention to hurt them." Can you imagine? I don't even understand how school management tends to protect their staff and then someone else's child loses his life, and for what exactly? Just for the intention to get educated. Now, is it that even the school environment is no longer safe and secure for the future generation? One thing is certainly sure, that the world is cruel, there is wickedness everywhere, but even in the school environment, so parents can no longer entrust their kids to their teachers. This is bad. Is it that the parents will need to sit in class with their children just for them to get educated? I mean, forfeiting every other thing they need to do for the day. This is really heartbreaking, because this said Emmanuel was not sick. he was not in any bad shape when he went to school that very morning. And then returning back, news of his death is now spreading like wildfire. This is really heartbreaking. The school management, they should consider putting their own child at risk or putting themselves in these parents' shoes to know how devastated they are. It is not easy to give birth. It is not easy to nurture a child, to enroll the child in the school, and then one fateful morning, you just hear that your child is dead. How devastating can that be? The funniest part is that I don't even understand what most schools are into. Before, I used to think that maybe it's public school that have all this kind of bad threats, all this kind of poor management. But we are talking about the top-notch schools in the country. These same schools that most parents spend millions just for their child to be enrolled in, just for their child to be educated. And then I spend millions just for my child, only for him to be beaten to the point of losing his life. This is terrible. They used to say that public schools are not very, very good. Their management is poor. And then if it had happened in public school, it would have been fair enough. But we are talking about private schools here. What are our parents now spending money for if their kids cannot be properly taken care of, ranging from security? And even if a child needs to be disciplined, there are other better ways to do it other than taking his life. This is taking somebody's life. There is no spare life after one dies. And the most annoying part is that these same school managements tend to protect their staff. And for what exactly? What if another child becomes the next victim? And then the person in question, this teacher in question, goes scot-free while someone loses his child. This is a clear case of not looking out for the children. Because as the school management could have it, if really their interest is to protect people's kids and then educate them, they would have known that the processes of having a child is not easy. The most annoying part is that they are now taking this in as a normal routine. The school management tend to cover up for their staff and then cook up lie just to cover the whole issue, to protect the school image and all of that. This is very bad because it has happened with Sylvester, and then there is no proper judgment that was served. Maybe most schools learned from it and then decided to copy from that. When an issue is not properly tackled, other people tend to learn from it, and then it grows. Corruption will be everywhere. Crimes will be everywhere. Even people who are the victim will not be heard. Justice will not be served properly. So I don't understand what our country is even turning into. Parents are weeping. Is it that it is now a crime to even enroll their child in schools? As most teachers don't want to concentrate in their profession, they want to turn to murderers. And that said mathematics teacher, is it that he carried his family wickedness, or is it that he's looking for someone to transfer aggression on, and then he feels his victim should be a young Emmanuel, a boy that's 12-year-old? What is this country even turning into? And apparently they'll be looking for every means to close down this case, just the way they did for Sylvester. And then what happened next? The crime continued. Parents will continue to weep for their children. Now, it is no longer the kidnappers, it is no longer the child traffickers, it is now teachers that are killing their pupil. This is heartbreaking. This is the height of it. No wonder most parents are so fetish. They tend to put all manner of things on their children. And if it's some parents, honestly, they will take this thing the other way around. And you guys know what I mean by that. Some will even go spiritual because the teacher needs to be properly dealt with. People are very funny. Looking up to some people's comments, some said the child might have died spiritually and then the math teacher was a tool to cover it up. How? Sometimes the way some people reason can be so annoying. Which one is the child has died spiritually again? And some others said that the child might be sick and then the parent is lying that as a result of the flogging, the math teacher flogged his child. While some other comments are saying that most teachers need to be arrested, especially math teachers, because math teachers tend to treat people. Some comments are saying that all mathematics teachers need to be arrested, as maybe too much looking for X and Y is confusing them, thereby maltreating pupils. There are so many funny comments even in this serious issue. I can only imagine how Emmanuel's father will be feeling. A 12-year-old child And then before you know it now, this case is going to close without proper judgment, without proper justice for Emmanuel. And as reports could have it, Emmanuel had the intention to do his homework. There was no light and he had to use his father's touch phone light. So his father took the phone from him because he needed to make use of it. Just for the next day, the maths teacher flogged Emmanuel, flogged him to the point of taking his own life, and then covering it up that he did not do his assignment, he did not do his homework. Honestly, there is really wickedness in everywhere. There is wickedness in high places. There is wickedness in highs and lows. So, the thing is just to call for protection. Because indeed, nowhere is really safe. There is no safe place. As teachers tend to be murderers now. A 12-year-old boy just passed on because of what? He did not do his assignments and he was beaten to the point of losing his own life. He was flogged to the point of vomiting and then he died. This is really bad. The management needs to give account of what happened to Emmanuel. And justice really needs to be served. At least they should use Emmanuel's case for example. They should use Emmanuel's case to set an example. Because if this slides, other schools will also see reasons to continue with their mismanagement and then covering up all their faults and errors. So my beautiful YouTube family, I know this video has got you and it was really touching. So you can do well by giving it a thumbs up, by sharing, and of course subscribing if you've not. I remain your favorite girl, FL0GS, bringing you amazing talks and shows. Thank you for watching.